Yo, what's up, guys? I'm here with Dave today, and we're going to talk about the most recent ban list in Digimon.
Yeah, what's going on, lads?
All right, do you want to talk about the first card, the big old mat?
Yeah, I don't think this one's super surprising, especially like there hasn't been a lot of like actual banned cards. I think like what we're talking about, like this and Mega Digimon Fusion. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But I think obviously this was part of a continuous loop, and they just wanted that to stop. Yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say about that because the other problem is in most other colors it probably could have just got restricted, but because it's purple, it's like once you see this, you can kind of just keep the loop going.
Yeah,
So,
that is a purple moment,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, so I guess it got banned. So it'd be interesting to see going forward because obviously a lot of other colors are starting to get more bin interaction like purple. If more cards get flat out banned because of it, kind of similar to what's going on with this Matashita going forward.
Yeah, it could happen. And that kind of is a good segue into the next two cards down the bottom on the restricted list. They're both memory gain cards, one related to the grave and the other just trash your set game 2. These are two cards that are very generic, and as time goes on they get better, and I feel like Gravity Crush not being here is kind of silly. I think Gravity Crush should definitely be here with them.
Yeah, I think the only thing that may have saved Gravity Crush is it hasn't like committed a big crime yet. It's like Blinding Ray, obviously. I think people who, it was used. You used to play this deck, like the Merva Cross deck used to play Gravity Crush and Blinding Ray to go for game. And you didn't care about trashing your security or giving your opponent memory because you won the game that turn.
Yeah,
so
that's
you just
right.
Didn't care. Whereas Blinding Ray kind of fell into this funny spot where it was all of a sudden trashing your security was really good for Magnarex.
Yeah, and there's a couple of yellow decks that like that too, but this is definitely mainly here because of Magna.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, obviously I think those three, obviously the two cards that got restricted, and also you bringing up Gravity Crush, they're definitely on the watch list because ever since they hit Hammer Spark, or Vulcan's Hammer, what I think it's called in Japan. These were always going to be like, well, are these the next ones to get restricted? Because obviously they're very similar cards. I'm super not surprised at Jack Ray. Jack Ray's been a bit similar to Hammer Spark. It's been in purple decks for almost ever. So I think it's just one of those cards, a bit similar to the Hammer Spark nerf. It wasn't like for a very particular deck. They just wanted to bring purple down a little bit.
Yeah, there's been so many decks that have used Jack Ray, like Purple Hybrid, obviously, but lots of Lilith Loop has just, done silly Jack Ray stuff. I think it's just a good hit for the game in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, zero cost options are really hard to balance. Like Hidden Potential.
Yep.
Yeah, all of them. Mega Digimon Fusion, it makes sense.
Yeah.
A zero cost option can be very problematic.
Yeah, but, even if we talk about like other zero cost options that haven't been restricted, that have definitely been called to be restricted in the past. I know there used to be a lot of talk about X Antibody getting restricted back in the day when X Antibody was running around everywhere.
Oh, that's true.
That's a pretty basic effect, really. It's like, hey, give something blitz pretty much, and you can't strip this. And then obviously, Protoform's a really good card too. I don't know if that's ever been talked about getting restricted, but I do definitely remember chatter about X Antibody. So I think it's whenever you print a zero cost card, it's kind of hard to value what actually costs zero.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a dangerous territory. They should probably avoid it. At least make it cost 1, I think.
But yeah, I have a feeling, going back to Gravity Crush, that like as soon as a deck that is doing particularly well is like, a good like 20% of like top cut and is red and is running Gravity Crush, it'll be on the list.
I agree. I feel it's more that red is just a worse color than yellow and purple in general.
It just hasn't like, the best way I could explain this is just hasn't committed a crime lately.
Yeah,
obviously, Jack Raid, it's in almost any purple deck, so if there's any, obviously Purple Hybrid's decent at the moment, so like obviously Purple Hybrid was kind of the criminal here. And it's pretty obvious Blinding Ray. It's mainly Magnarex, but obviously, yellow decks have been using this for a long time as well.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And these cards promote degenerate play. At least like the Cross Merva build with Blinding Ray and Gravity Crush.
It
Like
used to be so silly, yeah.
yeah, the amount of games you put to 1 or 2 and then you just go, well, I'm going to like 8 and I'm going to kill you, and like that,
Yeah.
it's just really silly. It's a bit like Fenriloogamon, which is how we'll get to
Yeah.
our next ban, where you just kind of kill your opponent regardless of the memory they give you. You don't care what they do
Yeah, you
really.
don't.
Fenriloogamon is here banned. We've skipped over Mirage, but I don't think we need to say anything about Mirage. Like
Yeah, we can kind
every
of come. We can
person
come
knew
back
that
to
was
that.
happening.
Yeah, Fenrir is an interesting one. I was kind of always wondering when Fenrir would get hit, because it is definitely the style of deck that tends to get hit. Like
Yeah.
if we look back, if for people who have played this game for a long time, if we look back even to BT7, or was it BT7, BT8 around that time when Jesmon, the Savior Huckmon, got
Yes.
hit, and that was pretty much the first promote from raising, kill you in one turn, like OTK deck.
And
You
then
know,
from there we had BT9, which had like
then we had
Grandis Kuzuhamon, which got hit.
Brandis got
Greymon
hit.
X got hit, but that was a Black War and Greymon
Yeah,
hit. But
Alphamon, which was very
yep,
similar, and
Alphamon.
then also Melga, which was very similar.
Oh
So
yeah,
I was always a bit worried about Fenrir, that it was like, oh, this is very similar to those style of decks. And generally, if history is anything to go by, almost all of those decks have been hit at some point. So I'm not super surprised that this got hit. And it seems like, unless there's any more, there has been a lot of Fenrir support in the last, like, what, 4 or 5 sets. Unless it gets more support, it seems like the deck's just kind of done at this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
The most recent support does not support this playstyle at all. It's more control based, so
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're cooked personally.
Yeah. Fair enough. That kind of happened to like, because I'm a big Alphamon
Oh,
enjoyer.
that's true.
Um,
Kind of the same thing. Hey, with the
yeah,
Chronicle
because it
stuff.
was, it was funny because, like, well, even before that, when the Royal Knights set came out, they printed, obviously a new Alphamon and stuff, but that was more geared towards, and even like a lot of the SOC and stuff that could be put in Alphamon, they were very careful to make sure that any of those cards couldn't turn Alphamon back into an OTK deck, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that
So
does make
yeah,
sense.
they're probably just, I don't know, taking a different direction. But it is funny that, like, these decks always get nerfed, but Bandai keeps making them.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we banned Malga and we banned Alphamon, and it's like, cool, here's Fenriloogamon that's gonna, like, be an OTK deck for like 5 sets.
Let's look at the Kuzuhamon limit.
Yeah.
Now, this is specifically to stop the Talmon loop being as consistent. But if you watched the top 4 of Worlds, you'll see that there was a Sakuyamon player who got third, and they weren't really playing the loop style of deck. They were playing more this kind of Sakuyamon, with Sakuyamon X Antibody, and even Voldemon Chaosmon, Volda Arm Chaosmon, sorry, to OTK their opponent. So I don't even think they were playing Kuzuhamon, or if they were, it didn't come up in their games. But so basically what I'm saying is Sakuyamon's a good deck in general. The Talmon loop's a little more degenerate. And this is meant to address that. But I think Talmon's still going to be a good deck in general. Or Sakuyamon's going to be a good deck in general, even with this piece at 1. I think they played 2 anyway, or maybe in the loop they played 4, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this card was always a little interesting. I remember back in the day, when I'm saying back in the day, it was when this, what EX set is this from again? Is it like EX?
I forget. I can check.
It's like, it was not long after like Blue Flare and after BT10.
Yeah, EX4, because
EX4.
Blue
Yeah,
Flare
so
started playing it, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. I remember I started playing it as like a 1 or 2 of, because it was like you could play free Blazing Memory boosts off it.
Oh, that's right.
Obviously, I ended up cutting it in the long run, but I was like, it's an interesting kind of card because you do get to play a 5-cost optional lower for free, and it's kind of like a little bit tricky because now this could also just be, obviously they want to probably, similar to the mat, they want to tie up a loop before it gets a little ridiculous, but also it just limits design space, right? Like, because it's like, now you have to super worry about any 5-cost option because Kuzuhamon can play it for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a good point.
So I think that this one might be like a bit of a 2-pronged thing. It's like, oh yeah, we want to stop this degenerate loop that's going on, but also this could potentially be a problem card down the road as well. Because, like I said, I used to play it in Blue Flare, and this card has no business being in a Blue Flare deck. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I think it was a little bit of future proofing, a little bit of cutting out the loop. Yeah.
And to talk about MirageGaogamon, we've got Ben to come in.
Hey, how's it going, boys? So Mirage getting hit to 1. I honestly think it's super fair. It's needed to happen for a long, long time. It's been the only viable blue deck to play since, BT 13, since we got the burst mode. I honestly think, if I was in control of the ban list, I would have hit burst mode over the actual BT 11 Mirage, because the difference is burst mode lets you actually push for game, while Mirage is just really annoying. I think there's a really big difference there, because once Mirage hits the board, it doesn't apply any offensive pressure. It's just kind of like, hey, you want to search? You can't do it.
You can't do it, yeah.
It's funny because I was one of the people on the but other decks play it like Galaxy, but then the Galaxy list of One World played 1, so it's like, he's
literally
changing nothing.
Yeah, literally, I seen the list at One World, and I was just like, oh, what a shocker! It's only playing it at 1. It's a great card. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna really, really hurt the deck. But at the same time, I think it's still playable.
Yeah, you switch to
just go back to the old.
Mirage?
Yeah, the BT4 Mirage, yeah. Because you Digivolve, gain the memory back, and then just go burst mode immediately after that.
So you still have the OTK potential thanks to the burst mode.
Yeah, 100%. The OTK version can still win you games, while in Galaxy it's a lot weaker, obviously, because Galaxy doesn't play the burst mode. But apparently Invisimon is just the way to go in the Galaxy engine anyway.
Oh, seeing Invisimon in action today, that card's awesome.
That was insane, bro. The Worlds are so good to watch. Unlucky to the Imperial player, he obviously bricked a bit, but at the same time, homie cooked with his Galaxy list.
Straight up. And on that mention of Imperial, let's move all the way to Stingmon. What do we think of this, fellas?
Yeah, it's a light tap on the deck. I don't know if there's much else to say about that. Me and Loz talked off camera about Imperial Jabon. It's just a deck that pops up every now and then. And for a deck, I wouldn't say it's been consistently good. Obviously, when it gets support, it pops its head back up. But it's never really had any major hits because of it. Obviously, things like Hidden Potential Discovered, Hammer Spark, and stuff are all, tertiary to it, right? But it's never really had a big hit. It's never had a Paladramon or a Dragon Mode or something like that hit. So, and it's another thing that me and Loz were talking about. It's by the time you're getting any value off this Stingmon, you already have Paladramon, so it's not like you're looking for pieces once this starts drawing your cards.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a bit of a slap on the wrist for that deck. It obviously doesn't make the deck better, but or it's not nothing, but I don't think it's super major in a way. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it. Yeah,
that's fair. I feel like this hit is very similar to the Gabumon hit we got a while ago, with when attacking effect is draw 1, because it's not once per turn.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's the only reason they hit this card. Otherwise, this card is literally fine.
Yeah, it was one of those strange ones. You get a bit silly with this, where it's you attack, you draw 1, then you Jogress, then you attack and draw 1, unsuspend, attack and draw 1. And you can kind of load up. But it was kind of like I'm saying, by the time you start drawing cards off this, you're already into your Paladramon and stuff.
Yeah, you're into where you want to be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the card I hit. I think you should have hit the the BT 12 XVmon.
Yeah.
Just because of the memory gain and the jamming. And it doesn't kill the deck if you hit that, it just slows it down a lot.
Yeah, it just means if they go on a Paladramon, it might pass turn instead of bringing the turn back.
Because they can still get the jamming via EX1 XVmon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's just the memory gain they're losing, which is it's huge.
Yeah, exactly. That's
they used to be able to pass 2 and just go, yes, wait, DNA, get 2 memory, tap Tamer, gain another memory, and just go bang, bang, go nuts for security.
I guess that's the other reason this Stingmon hit is a bit strange. I know this drops for 3 when you have the XV out, but it's just you can just play the other Sting that gains your memory, and it's cool.
Yeah, see, I think they're just trying to slow the draw power down, because, respectively, Andrew, he's one of our best players at locals, and he loves Imperial.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And I've noticed, it's just got a really rough match into Mirage because of this Stingmon, because you're just constantly drawing cards.
But I mean, he posted us his list, just to show how little this hit did. And he's like, hey, I was playing 2. Oh no, I cut 1.
Yeah, literally.
So,
But I feel like half the reason he cut it down to 2 is because of Mirage.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like now that Mirage got here and then this got here, it's kind of a bit how you're going.
Oh yeah.
True. Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Because if Mirage isn't around, maybe you start to max out on this because you're not getting punched for the draw. That's actually a really
that's a good point.
Exactly. Like you can just draw and not just go, oh shit, I'm losing turn because of Mirage.
No, that's a real good shout. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to hybrids. Oh, these cards technically are not hybrids. They're level 4s that warp you to your ancients, and they do not go on tamers. And they're a bit strange like that. They were the promo cards from a long time ago when all we had was the OG Ancient Grey and Ancient Garuru, which were pretty mid back in the day.
Pretty sure they were box toppers for BT4.
Yeah, I think that was that the set of Ancient Grey as well and Ancient Garuru.
Or was it no?
It was the first set of hybrids is that we got.
The very early set.
Was it 4? I think it might have been 4. It was the one that because that was the only set that had 3 secret rares. It had Lusamon and the 2 ancients. I'm pretty sure.
The BT4, I think it was,
Yeah, and then and if you put them all together, they make a photo, which is kind of sweet. Yeah, but
really cool art,
But the interesting thing was back then the only 2 cards that could go on tamers was the not promo Agunimon and the not promo Lobomon, and they were just vanilla text to memory on a tamer. That was
all the hybrids were vanillas back then.
Yeah,
it's just hybrid for game. That's all they were.
That's all they were. Yeah, which was pretty good back in the day. But yeah, I think maybe they just didn't want those colors to have more hybrids that could do that, or maybe they just hadn't fleshed out hybrid that much back then.
Yeah, I think blue and red has enough. So like blue and red hybrids are getting more support. They're always getting stuff, kind of thing. And I feel like all this does is stop or at least reduce the chance of you promoting, your rookie or your level 4, which is this promo, and evolving into, the ancients. Whereas the other Aguni and Lobo are part of like going into your ancient cheat by using your actual hybrid cards and plays, which feels a bit more on theme at least. Whereas this just kind of means there's only one way to cheat into your ancients rather than having a double chance at cheating into your ancients.
For sure. Like it also means like the deck I was playing a while ago that there was like that Bond ancient.
That deck. That was so
the Gabu Rush, and it was like that was already kind of dead from the last Banlist, but now it's like turbo dead. Like it's just got. It's like not even a discussion now. But
because that's the thing. Like with this Lobo hit, it doesn't even hit like the actual ancient Guru deck because they don't play this card whatsoever.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't give you that second option. I think it's right, but it's also like we don't have the crystal ball to see what they're designing in the future. But if they're one of the guy, I can't remember if it was you, Ben, but obviously we have a group chat where we talk about Digimon and stuff. And when these hits came up, and someone mentioned it, that it's like, oh, no one ever really plays the Emperor stuff or the Magna Gurumon stuff, or it's because of these cards.
Because the ancients are so good,
so favored because of mainly these cards.
Yeah, because I pointed out that nobody plays the Emperor Greymon version because this Agunimon exists. Like, why would you when you can just warp into a 6 and just go absolutely skits?
So it also could be, maybe going forward, whether it's Emperor or Ancient or Emperor. What's it? Magna Guru and Ancient
Magna Guru.
Like it could be either of those that they're trying to design, and they just think it doesn't matter which one of those ones it is. It could these cards could be a problem for that going forward, in one way or another. So,
I would say so.
And also, look, it's always annoying when shit like this happens, especially for like old players. But it's the classic like, oh, I want to play Ancient Gurumon. Oh, go track down these 4 promo cards from 2020. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
honestly, that's so fair.
Yeah, so it's like I kind of get it. Like, I kind of get it, and I actually don't hate it as much as I love that old Gabu Bond Rush deck. Like, and stuff like that. It's like I kind of get doing hits like these. Yeah,
I very much understand it. Like, it's a fair hit. Like. I think they're just future-proofing the game more than anything.
For sure, yeah.
And that brings us to the very last thing on this list, which is the banned pair of Mother and Shoto.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's super surprised by this. It was fun. It was cute while it lasted, and it was like, I don't know. Like I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then like I think people kind of got over it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Um, but
exactly that.
also the only thing I'll say about this really is like I'm actually think it's really cool that they've done another band pair because I wish they'd just kind of do that more often. It's just like, yeah, this card's fine, and in this deck and that deck, it's only when you put them together that they're busted. Um, Thumbs up, Bandai. I kind of hope you do more stuff like this. Is all I really want to say about it. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I'm very much with David on this one. Like, since the first band pair that we got with Sayo and Co. and that
Mhm.
promo
Yeah,
rookie, whatever his name
that
is.
endless like memory loop thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I thought the band pairing was actually really, really good. And
Yeah.
I hate that Bandai don't use it enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of band pairing fixes a lot of problems with the game. Like you were saying before, this card's busted because you can play it with this card.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, I'll use Blinding Ray as a really good example.
Yeah.
That can be at 4 copies, but as long as you don't play it with Magnum on X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could
I
work.
would agree right now. I also think like the memory, if we'll go back to talk about the memory gain ones, but I feel like they're just kind of future proofing with that as well. But I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
The only reason if Magna X didn't exist, Blinding Ray wouldn't be on this list. Let's not
Yeah,
get
exactly.
ourselves. Yeah. But yeah, it's I kind of agree. But I also feel like after me and Loz were talking about this earlier, after the Hammer Spark hit, the fact that Jack Raid and Blinding Ray were next, it's like I feel like it's only a matter of time until things like Gravity Crush on next on the list. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
that's super
surprised.
fair.
But I totally agree with you as well. Like I feel like if they just did a band pairing for a bit, no one would give a shit about Blinding Ray.
Yeah, and like if it wasn't for Purple Hybrid milling anywhere from 3 to 6 cards a turn, Jack Raid wouldn't be a card.
Yeah, I feel Jack Raid's a funny one though. Like it's a little bit similar to Hammer Spark. Like it's been in purple decks forever, and it's not like it was kind of like I remember when they hit Hammer Spark, I was like, oh, that's a little surprising, but I kind of get it, and that's how I kind of feel about Jack Raid. It's like it was never like the best, most oppressive card ever, but it was like it was in so many purple decks, and I think they just don't. They obviously are moving away from these 0 mana, free memory kind of cards, which is super fair, especially as the game's cards have gotten even more hyper efficient as well. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, Power Creep's just the thing in the game, isn't it?
yeah. So yeah, I think they're just like just moving away from these zero mana memory cards. And like me and Loz were talking about before, I wouldn't be surprised if Gravity Crush ends up on a list like this in the next year or so.
I'm going to play it at 4 in every red deck I play. I'm going to get it banned, fellas. Put it to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I was saying before, like I really love the band pairing. I just wish Bandai would use them more.
I couldn't agree more. That's kind of why I want to give like the kudos to them actually doing it here. And I feel like this is a really good example, and it's like cool, thumbs up. Give your call to your uncle John Bandai and say he did a good job. Like
Yeah, I'll let him know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
Alrighty, well,
I think like the fact that the Galaxy engine didn't get hit with the band pairing, I think you could have done so much with that with like ban Co and Sayo with X Digimon because it's incredibly good.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, you could have done a band pairing with Mirage, even if you wanted to get that one copy out of it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I kind of like we're talking about the elephant in the room. That is the Galaxy engine, which literally won Worlds pretty much a couple of hours before we talked about this. And because you're a Galaxy enjoyer, I've played dabbled a little bit with the Galaxy engine, and it's like it is a pretty fucking mean engine. So I wouldn't be like, obviously it's dodged it this time, but I wouldn't be surprised if that something from there ends up on this list at some point to kind of slow it down or maybe just kill it entirely.
Yeah, that's fair.
I couldn't agree. Couldn't agree more.
Dark Animal's also on that list. Dark Animal and Galaxy are surely being looked at.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just don't touch my boy Alphamon again. He doesn't need it. All right.
Yeah, well, the thing with those two engines is like before Worlds, they didn't do anything. Like they didn't win
True.
crazy big events.
True.
Like they topped a lot. Don't get me wrong, but they never won any crazy major events
That's
until
true, yeah.
Worlds, where the Galaxy engine actually took Worlds.
Popped off, yeah. That is very true. Yeah.
But in saying like that, it won Worlds. Like, unfortunately, that Imperial player did brick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Both
But, like,
Imperial
If you actually
players.
if like Imperial got to play the game, are we saying that Galaxy won Worlds? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah. In this low power or lowered power format we're about to enter now with this ban list, it's interesting that Red Purple Imperial, Blue Green Imperial, and Magnamon X will all still be pretty solid picks right now when everyone's still trying to figure out, what they want to play.
I would be interested to see how. I think 100% on Imperial, both colors. But I would be, as a person who's played a little bit of Magnamon X, I'd be very interested to see how Magnamon X does without Blinding Ray consistently.
Yeah.
That's all right, homie. I've been cooking and I've got the adjustments ready to go.
Oh, there we go. We're going to have Ben's profile up soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I was just having a look around on the Digimon meta, or not Digimon meta, sorry, the Digimon like deck building sites.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just having a look through that, and I think I've got something cooked, like something cooking.
Yeah, nice.
It's not not fantastic,
Yeah, well,
but it's a way to re-trigger Magna.
Well, yeah, don't spoil it now. Anyone who's listening, sub to Loz, and I'm sure fucking Ben will have a list up soon.
Surely next locals, Ben, you win it with Magna.
But
Let's go.
It's interesting. Me and Ben have talked. A lot of people don't like Magna X, and I can totally understand it. He's a big idiot that you can't really touch, and I can see how that's frustrating for a lot of people. But it's kind of like Ben said this a lot as a person who's played the deck. It's like a little bit of a fraud. Like the big issue I have with a person who's played Magna is this big unaffected idiot that you put out there, but he doesn't actually kill you that fast compared to like what else, like Purple Hybrid, Imperial, like Fenrir, like compared to what those decks can do if you give them like 2 turns, like Magna's not even in the same realm of like killing you. So it is a bit of a quote unquote slower deck, if you want to put it that way. So it'd be interesting to see that consistency of its protection being taken away, because now you have even less consistently and less time with that Magna on field to even do anything. So yeah, I'm interested to see what you cook up, Ben, but I'm also interested to just see how Magna X goes after this hit.
Yeah, because like Magna X it's lost its ability to extend. That 2 memory can like give it the extension that it wants to go for OTKs and Super Gong punches and promote another stack at the same time. Like that 2 memory is a lot bigger than what people are taking for.
Yeah,
like,
and especially now because you don't have Hammer Spark either.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've seen in the Digimon group that they think the new field spells, or is that what we're calling the cards that you tuck in security
field
and stuff like that. I've seen people saying, "Hey, this is your Blinding Ray replacement," and I'm just kind of like, "Bro, you're kind of fucking coping."
Yeah,
like, it's just not it. It's just not it. Like Blinding Ray for 2 memory, like or tuck a card security.
Some people get a bit funny with replacements. They're like, "Oh yeah, this card's pretty good." I'm like, if this card was pretty good, it'd probably already be in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say.
Like in all fairness, we don't have those cards yet. But like,
that's true,
I can't see it being in the list. Like, yeah, you remove 1 security to tuck another under, and your Magna gets an extra 2k. But like, and then what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Well, one of them's 3k, and the other one's 2k all turns. So
that's
but
see,
one's 0 cost, gain 2 memory. One's pay 2 memory, gain 2k.
Yeah, it's definitely worse. Definitely worse. But you know what? They do have good security effects. One of them's like player tamer. The other one I think is player level 5 or lower.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not quite the Blinding Ray for 0, fix all your problems, play a final punch, and kill your opponent.
Yeah. I mean, just to touch on what David was saying about like Magnamon just doesn't push for game incredibly well. It doesn't push for game unless you've got cards like Blinding Ray, Super Gong Punch, Fire
Need
Rocket.
those techs.
Yeah, Fire Rockets, for sure. It's
it's a very slow. Like I'm gonna kill you because you can't touch my Digimon. But it's going to take 4 to 5 turns.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time to draw outs, draw your, get your high speed plugins. Like, I'm just thinking of some people that use for answers. You've normally got 3 or 4 turns to like, all right, I need to get my cards to deal with this matchup. And like, honestly, if you don't have it's one of the annoying things about Magna. If you don't have cards to deal with it, it's kind of like,
it's kind of like Mother Shoto in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally understand that. Like, Magnamon is a big annoying idiot.
But
like,
I can see why it's super frustrating. It's one of the reasons I kind of stopped playing it, because I'm like, this isn't that fun to play personally. I love Magna X, but like as a Digimon, not so much the deck. But I'm like, this isn't that much fun to play, and it's like I could see like this is super frustrating for my opponents as well. So I'm like,
and that's so fair. Like,
yeah.
The last few times I've taken it to locals, like I'm not the one picking the deck. I grab my deck boxes and go round one opponent, pick my deck for the day.
Yeah. But also, you're like a very big Magnamon enjoyer, so it's like you want to play a deck that you like. I get it too. Like,
like, I've been playing Armor since BT8 because that's kind of like when I sort of joined the game.
Yeah,
it was very much around that BT7 into BT8 format.
For sure, yeah. The
old, like the first box,
Rush,
like the first box I ever bought was a BT8 box.
Yeah, that was a good set too. I love BT8.
That was a great set to start on.
But yeah, I kind of feel like that a little bit with my 2 ones are like Black War Greymon and Alphamon. Like whenever there's new cards for it, or whenever it's like even somewhat playable. Like I played Alphamon back in BT6, like when it was terrible, and then finally it got good in BT9, and then it's had a little bit of support here and there. Obviously, it got a big wave of support just recently, but like I'll always play that or Black War just because like I just love those Digimon.
Yeah, that's so fair. Like, I love people that just go, "Hey, this is a cool guy. I'm playing it." Simple as that.
Yeah, that's just my dude. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. You got anything else to say, Loz?
Nope, I'm all good. I'm pretty happy with the list. There's some changes that probably could have been made, but that's fine. I think it's a good list, and
cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's a super fair list.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit surprised by Matashita to 0.
Yeah,
but I totally get it.
It's just a purple moment, right? Because in purple they're gonna recycle that stuff.
Me and Loz were talking about this earlier. I feel like if this was any other color, it would have been 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like because it's purple and purple has so much bin interaction, and so much mill. It's like once this is in your bin, it doesn't matter how many copies you have of it. It's there,
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was any other color, but it's also like I was actually saying to Loz earlier, like it'd be interesting to see if because more decks are getting more and more bin interaction in other colors. Like black's starting to have a lot of bin interaction now as well.
Red's getting a lot of it.
Yeah, red's starting to get it as well, and it'd be interesting to see if more cards get banned because of that instead of restricted. But I guess we'll wait and see.
I think they've put Matt to 0 for one reason and one reason alone. You can't recycle Jack raids.
True. Yeah.
Like, there's no other way to get options out of the bin except for Matashita.
Right. Yeah.
True.
And I think that's the biggest reason they put it to 0. Yeah, I get you can do the Dustmon crazy loop bullshit.
Yeah.
But if you put Matashita to 1, it's still very difficult to do that.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, I think they've hit it.
Especially if you put the Jack raid to 1 as well. It's like it could happen, but it's like it's unlikely. But I guess they're just like, what happens if you just high roll and do it? And it's like, I don't know. I feel like they just took it out back and shot it in the head, and they're like, we don't want to think about this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't blame them for it because Matashita just wasn't a card, and then Purple Hybrid come out, and everyone's like, "Yo, this is a good card."
As someone who's played this game for a long time, like, fuck, I don't think Matashita's ever seen fucking play. It's like
I might have seen playing BT3 at best, just to be a decent memory setter.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It was weird. Purple wasn't really that good in the early sets. It kind of started getting online when like Starmon and stuff started picking up.
Yeah, like Mass Day was like when it started to be like a real good color.
There was like Beelstar was like the first, there was like a Beelzemon deck back in the day, but I feel like Matashita just wasn't it, man. Like,
Till now. Now it's banned. Bye-bye.
But it's also like back then you had to pay the full 4 to get the card back. Like, you know, now it's like you're like cheating into play and you get the card
You're
back.
playing it for 0 and get
Yeah.
the card back. Oh, let me
Yeah.
just tap Blinding Ray again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not Blinding Ray, Jack Raid again.
Yeah.
I'll gain 3. You can go get stuff, and I'll keep continuing my turn. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, thank you for joining me, Dave and Ben. That was a very insightful chat about the ban list. Keen for the next one.
Yep, keen for Ben's Magna list.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, Dave. I'll send it to you after this, bro.
No worries.
All right, catches.
Have a good one, lads.
All right. Thanks for having us.